Welcome to the Deal by Me podcast, where we ask guests to tell us your story. Hello there, this is Dr. James W. Smith, your host. I'm pleased to have with me Mercylyn Odibo. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly, who is an audit creator. She is an
Yes.
exceptional writer, poet, songwriter, and artist. Her main goal is to inspire, motivate, and impact lives. She hopes to do so through the themes of her work, which is the best way to relate and connect with the readers. She began writing as a teenager, which later spiraled into full-blown writing. She likes to see the world around her and what she can give to it. I'm excited to have Mercylyn come and share with this podcast. So, Mercylyn, would you share with us a little about yourself, and then we will get into what you do and your book and allow you to share as much as you would like to. Okay?
Absolutely. Well, you already said the majority of what I should have said, but I am from California. I was born in Africa, West Africa, Nigeria, and then I kind of migrated, and I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm currently resident in Illinois.
Okay. Okay. Mercylina, would you make certain I'm pronouncing that last name right? How would you pronounce it?
My name, you mean?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, it's Mercylyn.
Okay.
Did you pronounce it very well, Mercylyn
Okay.
Odibo?
Okay.
You did great with that.
Okay. Thank you. Just I don't like to mess names up.
Yes.
I Mercylina, I'm curious whenever people write. I
Mhm.
always like to know what was behind it that made them feel inspired to do what they do. You've written a book, and so I like to know a little bit about what was it that gave you this push? What made you just decide that I want to sit down and I want to write a book? Could you kind of talk to that a little bit to listeners of this
Yeah,
podcast?
absolutely. So for me, writing, like you said, I started like with journaling. I'll just write my stories in journal. I started hiding them. I wouldn't let anybody see it. Then my school teacher happened to have seen it. Well, not my journal. She saw my assignment that I wrote, and she like, oh my gosh, she actually fetched me out of from class, and she's like, "Who did this for you?" I said, "I did it myself." So, do you know you're a writer? I said, "Yes, I know because I write in my journals, but nobody see it." It's like you can do very well if you start writing to newspapers and let them publish your work because you're really good. And
Hmm.
then I started that first of all. I did publish one or two of my short stories in newspaper. And from then onwards, I just realized that this writing skills just doesn't go away. And then I started putting them into paper. Every thought that I had, I put them in paper, the ideas. So now I knew that somehow I was going to write, but I just wasn't sure exactly when. But
Hmm.
I just kept writing and writing and writing. And when this idea came in 2016 for this story that I wrote, um, I just kept going. In
Hmm.
2016, I had the title, Extras of Little Hope. So I'm like, what can I even do with this? And I already wrote a story in that line previously, like the ray of little hope. I mean, the ray of hope. I said it's like that one. I could have a different story around this, and I started growing the story. I started writing and writing. It just became very voluminous, and I started trying to concise it. But my idea of going into writing was not just writing, because when my school teacher spoke to me and she told me, "Do you know when I wrote your story, I cried?" I mean,
Hmm.
when I read your story, I cried. I said, "Wow." She said, "It touched me."
Mm,
And then when she told me that you needed to start writing because you have the gift in you,
mm,
I kind of sat down and I said, I'm not just going to be a writer just for writing's sake. There has to be a direction where my writing is going to go. And then I had to sit down and look at the universal concept of writing, universal concept of anything. How does it impact love? How does it impact acceptance? How does it impact the society we live in? And I just thought that it would be a great idea to carve my stories around that's points of contact with the audience or with the reader, where they can feel inspired,
mm,
where they can feel imparted, where they can feel that someone is listening to them, be a voice for those who do not have voice. So
mm.
that kind of guided my writing, and most of the writings that I've written, so most of the manuscripts I've written so far, they've all been geared towards impacting someone out there, get towards the world, communicating what I feel that the world needs to hear. There's just so much going on in the world.
Okay,
And my book,
okay,
sorry,
Mercylyn, I was trying to make certain we can kind of keep it focused so that listeners can kind
yes,
of
sorry.
follow us. No, it's okay. I just want to make sure they get a good feel for what you do and you know how you what motivated you to get it going. And I think we got a good feel for that. So I want to ask you, what is it that you write about? Is it nonfiction or is it fiction? And is the book that we're going to be talking about today your first book? Or and the reason I'm asking is because I saw in reading your profile wherein you are an exceptional storyteller, poet,
Yes,
artist, and
yes.
songwriter, you know. So do you just do all of that, or is that a part intertwined in what you do? You know, like in your book, you might have some, you know, storytelling about it. You know, it show your artistic uh, life or what have you. Can you kind of deal with that a little bit more?
Yes, I'm really glad that you asked me that question. Absolutely. So my book, this book that I wrote is a fictional book. So I'm a fiction writer. That's
Mhm.
completely separate. That's what this book is about.
Okay.
But me being a poet is completely different. I have an array of poems that I'm going to be publishing in the future. So that's is different. And
Okay.
me also being an artist is different. I actually paint. I have some drawings that I actually sit down to paint. And in terms of songwriting, I've written songs. So they're not all compiled into this book. They're all separate. But I'm
Mhm.
just an embodiment of versatility, you could call it, of different artistic parts.
Okay. So you're just what I call a gifted individual when it comes to the arts, music, or what have you. That's what I'm getting from talking to you thus far. Am I basically correct about that?
Yes, absolutely. You are.
Okay, all right. Now, one of the, how did you? I think I got that from what you said, but I like to know
Mhm.
how all of this started. With this was, uh, you know, in your early life, you decided that you wanted to write, and I think I heard you say you started writing journals. Uh,
Yes.
was this based on fiction also, or was this something about, a daily routine, what I did daily, and then I'm going to start keeping a journal on it. Then at some point, I might get to the point where I might just get it published or try to get it into a book. Talk about how you did your work.
Because like I said, so I always knew that I had this gift in me. I could write, but I knew it was always a story that popped up in my head, like an imagination, a story, imaginations that I didn't get from anywhere, just pop up, and I start putting them together. Like I got the
Uh-huh.
title for this work, X-Rays of Little Hopes. And then by the time I got the title, the plots just started forming in 2016. By 2017, 18, I'd already actually knew the structure of my work and I started putting them. So they were all just imaginations from my head, just putting these things on paper, how a storyline would go. So it's just a fictional work that I feel that will resonate with the community, the world at large. And once I started building the story and the plots and the themes, and it has started taking shape. I knew exactly where I was headed with this work, and I knew that I had to impact someone, and I had to impact some people that didn't have a voice, that have been silent. I raised a couple of issues in the work. Uh, so many people, I don't want to kind of give out any information about it, but I really want to encourage people to buy it. But there's so many things that resonate with the society
Hmm.
today that I think that anybody who reads my book will really sit down and say, this has really touched me in somehow.
I
So
like
this was
that.
yes. So this is and it's also Christian based too, because I'm from a Christian background. I happen to be a Christian, and
Okay.
I just wanted to find a way to incorporate my Christian values and my
Mm,
Christian belief into a fictional story, not just a fiction, but a love story, because I like to like write about love
okay.
stories. But
Yeah.
how do I
Uh,
impact? Yeah.
I'm sensing I'm really sensing that in you, and I'm sensing it from what I've read about you,
Mhm.
your book on Amazon, and from the profile that I got to kind of
Mhm.
that shares a little bit about you and your writing, and I'm relatively touched by how you are doing this and what you're doing. I'm a minister myself. I pastored for over 30 years at the same church. So
Oh, wow.
I can feel your zest and what you are trying to do. So let me ask you this question. Um, what are you trying to do in your writing? Maybe I should put it this way. Is there a particular group or any persons that you're trying to reach in your writings, or is it just a general fiction or book that's for almost anybody?
Without giving a lot of spoilers about my book, so my book is fictional. It touches on so many things that are touches on mental health. Some people
Okay,
have been through so much. It
okay.
touches on relationship.
Mm,
It talks about. So I just didn't want to pretend about it because relationship is a kind of universal word that I would say because both Christians and unbelievers and those who are not in the Christian fold, everybody get married. So I just kind of wanted to incorporate all of those themes into this one to make it acceptable to everybody to be able to resonate and see how it affects them in different ways. So I
mm,
talked about relationship. I talked about the family as a whole, how people can really
okay,
come together in a family, being themselves and not perfect people
okay.
because everybody wants perfection in life, but nobody's really perfect because people who want perfection from others and they're not really perfect. But people can have different faults. They just need understanding.
Hmm.
They just need people who can see them.
I
Some people
get you.
don't have a voice, and
Hmm.
they just want someone who will speak for them.
Okay.
There's people that have been abused. There's people that have been wrongfully accused. So
Uh,
there's just
uh,
so many things
I,
that's
I,
gone.
right. I got you. I see where you are and see what you're doing now. Yo, your well, let me put it this way. The book that we're talking about today is
Mhm.
your first book, which is X-Ray of Little Hopes. Is that the title
Yes,
of it? Now,
yes.
I like the title, X-Rays of Little Hopes. It's really kind of catches you. It's one of those titles that you say, I like to know what this is all about. So would
Mhm.
you share with listeners now? And listeners, please don't go any place because I've got a couple more questions that I want to ask of Mercylyn. So
Mhm.
just hang with us as I ask her to just tell us where we can get more information on her and how you can get her book.
Mhm.
Mercylyn, would you share that?
So did you want me to share about the book, the title, or
Yeah,
why I had the
you can share as much as you want to about your book,
Okay.
where people can get it, as much as you want to about it.
Oh, sure. So the title came just X-rays of Little Hopes. The word X-ray was kind of out of place at first, but I just knew that it would mean a lot because we have to kind of examine people and where they are from, where they are coming from, their point of view in life and what they've been through. Nobody wants to be thrown aside. Everybody has a story. We want to hear everybody's story. So each of these characters, they all had their story and they kind of impacted each other in different ways. So that's how that title came about.
Hmm.
And then for this book, it's my first book, like you already rightly said. So you can find this book on Amazon. Uh, they can go to Barnes and Nobles and also find it online. So and every
Okay.
other place where that's sold.
Okay.
So you can be found everywhere. It comes in different versions.
Hmm.
There's the hard copy, and there's the paperback, and there's the Kindle.
Mm.
So I don't have to talk prices now, though.
Okay. All right. Oh, well, that's very exciting. Listeners, is the book's title is X-Rays of Little Hope. Of Little
Yeah,
Hopes, X-rays of
yeah.
Little Hopes. So please keep that in mind, and I think you really would enjoy this book. Mercylyn is a very interesting and very charming guest, and I really enjoyed talking with her. So, Mercylyn, let me ask you this: you make a couple of statements. You said that I would like to say that all my work has a voice and often speaks prophetically with messages inculcated or embedded within. Is I guess I'm trying to make certain I understand what you were trying to say here. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Um, well, I just want to say that when I write, I
Mm,
feel inspired by God. That's the way I see it because some of the
okay.
words I write, like I said, is imagination. Some of them I feel they're coming from spiritual point of standpoint, and
Hmm.
God wants me to write about this or wants me to write about this because not just being um, it's not just being a child of God or being a Christian, but I feel that I also have that gift where I feel that God tells me certain things that the
Mm,
people needs to hear. So
okay.
I feel that that has been translated into my book, and it has come into a collective. All of them has come into one collective fiction book that's going to resonate with people and meet them at the point of their needs. And someone's going to pick it up and say, "Oh, yes, I did go through that. This is the answer that I need back." So that's the way I want to view it. So not
Oh,
just on a standpoint of just fiction, but more on a spiritual level.
I love that. Um, what can a podcast audience, yeah, and then I'm talking about listeners of this podcast or anybody else who may be listening to a podcast about you and will read your
Mhm.
book. What can this podcast audience gain from listening to you or gain from reading your book? Am I making
Um,
sense to
we've
you?
said so many. Yes, it does actually.
Okay,
I
okay.
would say so many things. So, my goal, first of all, in writing is to be able to resonate with the audience. And then I have also pointed out the point that I want to be a voice for people. I want to be able to resonate, not just a good book to read for anybody or just for women. So it's not streamlined to, oh, it's a woman's book, the protagonist is a woman, is a female. Anybody can go through what the same protagonist went through, even a male.
Mm,
So I was writing generally for the entire people. My goal is to ensure that I just to make people see what I see in them when I wrote this book,
mm,
see how they can get impacted by the story of this individual, of this character. And in fact,
mhm,
not just that one character, all of the character. And some of the portions in every verse, in every chapter that I've written, and every voice is speaking, maybe it's one verse is speaking to the other, they're actually prophesying things that we already know as individuals that will motivate us to go through certain things that we're going through in life. So it's kind of like a lessons that the protagonist or the characters have learned from the book. They're able to embed it into their physical life. So in real world, people can also use that same that people can incorporate that into their life, impact, let it be an impactment in their lives, and be able to move through the trials and all the struggles, physical struggle in life that they are going through. So that's what I want the audience to take away from.
mm,
Just take the good parts of it. Some there were not specific Bible verses that were quoted in my book, but some of the words that were said by some of these characters were very impactful. They were very uplifting. They resonate with what we all go through. Even me, they speak to me myself. So that's what I want the audience to go through and
yeah.
impact into it and to make them feel that it's okay. Whatever they're going through is okay. They are not alone. Everybody is going through, nobody is perfect. Nobody has to come from a perfect point of standpoint in life to say, oh, I have to, you just have to be who you are and come that way and impact as you can to the world. And then somehow God is going to take you from that level and take you to where you need to be
Mm,
because there's
mm.
always an answer for every situation. We just
Okay.
have to find it.
Let me ask you this, and probably my last question to you. My podcast, when I started it, I wanted to do something that would be encouraging, inspiring, and hopefully transforming. So my question to you is, if listeners are if listeners are listening or will read your book, uh, do you feel that they will be encouraged, inspired, and transformed in some way?
Absolutely, because there
Okay.
were powerful statements that were said in the book. There were powerful advice and words that were said that would either make you laugh or cry or really impact you. And so, yes, this is really true.
Mm, I love that.
And
I
this is
love
really,
I love
mhm,
it. I love it.
what, mhm,
Mercylyn,
sorry.
is there anything else you want to share with listeners of this podcast?
Well, I just wanted to tell someone out there again that God sees you. God is not deaf to anything that people need. God understands. And I know that my book is very inspiring and that someone who picks up my book is going to definitely feel those words from the lines of my book. And I just want to tell that person out there, you're just as perfect and as beautiful as you are, as handsome as you are. You don't need anything more than what God has said you are. So whatever anybody's speaking into your heart, whatever you're telling yourself, you don't measure up, you do measure up. And whatever someone is telling you don't measure up, of course, they are all lying to you.
Mm,
And God is always true. He's not a liar at any time. So
wow.
that's what I want anybody to take away from and just I mean it's not only just Christians, but anybody out there who's
Mhm,
not even a Christian. I want them to pick up my book and feel like, oh, this thing ministered to me. I
mm,
really felt this book touching on certain areas that I feel it is drawing me towards God or towards this book.
mm.
And that situation is getting an answer to. So that's my goal.
Oh, wow. Wow. Mercylyn, you've been an awesome guest. I've enjoyed sharing with you, talking with you, and I'm certain that listeners will be very impressed and they will, just gain a lot from listening to this podcast and also reading your book. Again, I want to thank you for agreeing to come on the Deal by
So,
Me podcast. And there you have it. Mercylyn Odibo sharing with us
yes.
today. And until next time, peace and blessings be with each of you.